information from the WHO or any valid document is going to publish this news that this virus is the air communicable virus, right? We are not sure about this. So air spreading is not confirmed so far, otherwise droplet sneezing and the touching is confirmed. That is the mode of communication. Clear? This virus affects human immunity. This virus affects human immunity, and the symptom is what? It's a fever, loss of immunity, respiratory disturbance, which leads to difficult in breathing, and so on. That is the prime symptoms of this particular infection. Then again, there are so many even other complications, right? So don't talk about now I have seen so many cases, the people they become died just because of the heart attack and they are mentioned as the COVID patient, right? I have seen there are so many cases. My few relatives, they collapsed just because of the mild heart attack, and even doctor reported that they are the patient of the corona, right? And the cremation was done as per the corona protocol, right? So this is what. So again, if you have any problem like the asthma, there could be the chance of the collapse. So the primary, we are just talking about the primary infection is what, that is the fever, loss of immunity and difficulty in breathing. That leads to the number of complications as per the condition of the condition of the patient. Clear? Fine? Okay? Then again, if we come to the infection, how this infection takes place? This infection is through spike protein, which acts as antigen. Spike protein. Infection is always through spike protein. Spike protein is infectious. Spike protein is infectious. Spike protein is infectious. Like see, look here. If you see here, this is host cell. And suppose it is my body. And I am here. This is host cell. And suppose human is host. And I am going to receive, this is what? It's a corona. And it's a SARS-CoV-2. It's a virus. Clear? So now this human cell, it is a human cell. It is a human cell. Yes? So in cell, there must be the cell membrane. And at the cell membrane, it is not required. These technical terms are not required. At the cell membrane, we have a number of, you see here, we have a number of receptors. And these receptors are going to receive spike protein. Right? Spike protein. So spike protein is in fact, it's an infectious protein. Infection is because of spike protein. Right? No RNA, no envelope protein. Infection is only because of the spike protein. Infection is only because of the spike protein. Right? Infection is only because of this spike. Spike protein is infectious in nature. Only spike protein is infectious in nature. Like example, if you see here, this is the virus, and this virus is going to penetrate my body, See here, so this tip is what? It's a spike protein, and this spike protein is going to infect, right? This is only spike protein is going to infect. So this is what it's infectious in nature. I hope you understand. बीच बीच में देखना पड़ता है कि whether I'm audible or not. All okay? All okay? Right, okay, fine. So see here, listen. Coming back to this discussion once again. Infection is because of the spike protein. Clear? Okay? So this spike protein is the infectious protein. Now, see, I am just elaborating to some extent, which is required for the exam in a very simple manner. In a very simple manner. See, this is virus. That virus had a spike protein. Spike protein. That virus has a RNA as a genetic material. This spike protein is infectious protein. Infectious in nature, infection in nature. Clear? And this is technically antigen. It is antigenic in nature. I will explain this antigenic nature later on. So the point is that here, see, this spike protein is protein. When we talk about the protein, and when we talk about the any protein, and whether we talk about the spike protein, whether we talk about the human muscle protein, whether we talk about the milk protein, whether we talk about the paneer, whether we talk about the animal flesh, that is the best source of the protein. When we talk about the any protein, here we are talking about this spike protein. So the technical term is what? It's a protein. Protein is structured in nature, and when we talk about the protein, this protein is made up of, the basic unit of protein is what? It's an amino acid. It's an amino acid. Right? It's an amino acid. And there are total 20 types of amino acid that we are supposed to elaborate, not this time, later on. Right? And even means, suppose if I want to elaborate this structure of protein that itself is made up of amino acid. Clear? So this is the elaboration of this protein structure like this. That protein is made up of a long chain of amino acid, 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 amino acid. Clear? Amino acid. Right? And at two places, and that places is not required. And at two places, suppose I am just taking place number 1, and this is what? It's a place number 2. Two places, amino acid original amino acid is replaced by new amino acid. Right? Original amino acid that was the part of COVID-19. That was the part of SARS-CoV-2. The original amino acid was replaced by new amino acid. Means replacement took place. At two places replacement took place. This is called as double point mutation. This is called as double point mutation. 1 point replacement is 1 point mutation, right? 2 points replacement are the miss when the process takes place at two places. That is called as the double point mutation. So we named this variety as a double mutant variety of corona. Double mutant variety of corona, and we named this variety as a B1617. This is the lineage of this double mutant. So you heard about double mutants, you heard about triple mutants. It means it's a very simple aspect, because in spike protein, in the spike protein of the original virus, two positions of amino acids are replaced by two amino acids that make a sense of the double mutant variety of this coronavirus. And this was seen earlier in Delhi and Maharashtra. Right? So double mutant variety is what? It's a B.1.617. That is the lineage. Means it's a nomenclature of that particular variety, and we are not supposed to discuss about the elaborated aspect of this nomenclature, means how the viruses are getting different name and the lineage, that we are not supposed to discuss about. But normally when we talk about the double mutant variety, it means P.1.617 that was seen earlier in Delhi and the Maharashtra. And double mutant means what? 2 point mutation takes place in the previous strain of the virus. Right? Fine. I hope you understand. And recently, in the election of Bengal, we have reported. I'm just taking the first page. In the recent election of the Bengal, we have reported triple strain, and we named it as a Bengal strain. That is well dominating is West Bengal, Maharashtra, Delhi, Chhattisgarh. Right? And here triple strain is what? Here triple strain is what? Simply in nutshell, it's a 3 point mutation in spike protein of SARS-CoV-2. 3 point mutation in spike protein of SARS-CoV-2. Right? So 3 point triple strain means 3 point mutation. Right? Even that could be, now you heard about, there are so many strains of them, means virus is changing itself. That make a sense of what? There must be changing in the spike, there must be changing in the spike protein of, means there must be the changing of the amino acid integration of the spike protein of this particular virus. So when we talk about the strains of the viruses, it means we are simply talking about changing the nature of amino acid in the spike protein of viruses. That is the basic aspect of the double and the triple strains of the viruses, right? So even in future you are going to heard about the fourth strain, right? Or even the fifth strain. 5 times strain means number of strains are going to be increased. So simply you make a sense of double strain means what? That is the 2-point mutations, triple strain means 3-point mutations, 4 strain means quadruple strain means 4-point mutation, 5 times, 6 times. If you just increase the number of mutations, so these strains are going to be possible in the near future. So officially we don't have in India, we have reported what we have reported so far means we are just taking this class. Until date, the triple strains means these strains are reported in India and we named this triple strain as a B1. This is the B1618. So 617 is the double strain. B1617 is double mutant, means 2-point mutation in the spike protein. This is triple mutant, means 3-point mutation in the spike protein of this coronavirus. Right? So I think that all clear regarding this double and the triple mutants of the viruses. Coming to the chat section, if you have any doubt, please let me know fast. All okay? I am going to repeat once again. See, Pratik, a study published in the New England Journal of the Medicine has confirmed the air transmission. We are supposed to get the confirmation from the WHO. We are not supposed to get the confirmation from any journal across the world. If WHO has confirmed it is air transmission, we need to consider. Otherwise, there are so many journals, they are going to publish their own concept, right? Unless it is justified by the WHO, because we can bank upon only WHO. We can bank upon WHO for the authentication. That's why I told you, because that was published in journal. Probably American journals are going to claim that no, there are even this air transmission is not possible. So it's all about the apprehension. The journals are communicating, journals are publishing, but even any publication is authentic. Right? It is not going to be authenticated unless it is justified by the WHO. I'm just coming to this. Abhinash, I'm just coming to your point. I need to come to that point. Just hold. Gaurav, just let me discuss. Gaurav, see, listen, we all are in Delhi, the entire system is crushed just because of the corona. So just try to understand our problem. The entire system is suffering from the corona itself. Right, I just recently recovered from the corona and I'm just taking class. Even I have not completed my quarantine. I am still in quarantine and I'm taking your classes. Right, so just wait for the couple of days. You are going to get well-defined plan. The entire system is locked. We are in the lockdown, clearly. In Delhi, the entire system is in lockdown. You must be knowing about. Till the 3rd of the May, in Delhi is in a complete lockdown. So we are just trying to facilitate even in the hostile conditions. So you must have patience, right? Today we have class. I do agree that you are not communicated with the class. Even you don't have planner. But I'm just telling you, tomorrow again we are going to share the same. That tomorrow the class time will be the same. Till Saturday we are going to continue this class at the same time. That is officially announcing that I myself is announcing you, right? So probably you'll be able to get this planner once the conditions are going to be all right, fine. I'm just coming to the new system, just hold. अभी आते हैं यार, Maria, I'm just coming to that part of the immunity and the vaccination. And now, as of now, we have discussed about whatever we have discussed about the coronavirus. Coming to the different aspect of the coronavirus, just wait. Just have patience, right? ठीक है. So इसलिए यार don't try to claim like कि don't try to complain like कि ये नहीं मिला, planner नहीं मिला, मिलेगा यार, सब मिलेगा ना, आप समझो ना. You know how we are conducting classes in this hostile condition. Network is not working even, right? I just try to manage this network, and even if I am going to claim Airtel, the people, they are not able to come to me just because again they are in the locked conditions. Yeah, definitely. You are going to get all recorded class if you missed. This class is live streaming as well as this class is also recording. So if you have missed something, you can get this class in the recorded version till the last. I know that you people are, please write down your problem. 9, it's a 99536 COV2. Yes. 9953761397. Clear? So listen, what we have done so far. Anna, let me summarize. Let me summarize in a very short manner what we have done. See, listen. It's a SARS CoV2. Yes. Infection is through spike protein, which is technically antigen. Yes, this spike protein is made up of amino acid. Yes, double mutant strain means two positions of original amino acid is disturbed or replaced in spike protein. Yes, and this lineage is known as B1167, B.1.167 triple mutant strain, means 3-point mutation, 3-point mutation in spike protein B1168. This is Bengal strain. This is Bengal strain. Fine. Then the question asks, this is what we have discussed, we have done so far. Clear? Okay, fine. Then the question asked by, I'm not able to recall the name, but I could, recognize the question. The question was asked by someone regarding the polio. The polio is not spreadable to that extent what we could see in the case of the corona. Listen, when we talk about the viruses, that we are going to elaborate later on, when we talk about the viruses, the mode of communication could be different, right? Pathogenic communication could be air, means air is the mode of communication. Water is also mode of communication. Soil is the mode of communication, or even biological system, that is the mode of communication. Like one example, in the case of dengue, right, the only mode of communication is what? It is mosquito, right? It is mosquito. In the case of the HIV, the only mode of communication is what? Through the blood infection, right? If I have HIV infected blood, and if my blood is transfused to someone else, if someone is going to get my blood with the HIV strain, clear, so that might be, he or she might be going to affect to the HIV. But if I am going to shake hand, if I am going to touch that man, right, or that man, right, that man is not going to be infected through the HIV, because the mode of communication is what? It's the blood communication. Clear? So in the case of the polio, the contamination is through the soil. Contamination is through the soil. It's a soil contamination, because the location of the viruses are where exactly? In the soil. So the polio virus is soil transmitted disease. Soil transmitted disease. Right? But in the case of the corona is communicated through the biological system, and that biological system is what? We are the best example of the biological system. So if I am going to sneeze, so that sneezing leads to what? And suppose if I am infected by the corona, so my sneezing is going to have corona, and then what happened? Right, I transmitted this coronavirus through my sneezing to someone else. Or even if I am suffering from the coronavirus, so definitely my body has a viral symptom. And if I am going to touch someone, so then what happened? Right, I have communicated this virus to living host, and that host is going to get viral infection. So in all cases of so many examples, we have so many examples of so many viral diseases, right? In every case, we cannot apply the same mode of communication, like in the case of, like suppose if you are going to apply the same mode of communication in the case of polio, it is not exactly similar to the mode of communication in the case of corona. In the case of polio, the mode of communication is not touch. The mode of communication is not air. The mode of communication is not, right, the mode of communication is the soil. Right? Or even soil water. Clear? But the mode of communication is not food. But even in the case of the corona, the mode of communication is what? It's a biological system. Touch, sneezing, coughing and all. I hope you understand. This question clicked in my mind, and then I replied this question. Right, fine. Now see here, when we talk about, see, as a whole, when we talk about what we have discussed, if we just look at the global pandemic now, especially in India, see the Indian condition is what? It's a worse this time because we have not worked for the health, the infrastructure, especially in the health aspect. And then what happened every day? There are so many people, means hundred and a thousand of the people, they are going to be dead. And even the 3.5 to 4 lakhs every day we are going to get. The Indians are going to be infected. So then what happened? Listen, in this case, what happened? The mode of communication is what we have done so far. And here, the infection is through the spike protein. And even we have mentioned earlier for the corona, not only corona, for any kind of the viral infection, right? Let me take the best example as a common cold. Common cold is the simple example what I am talking about, right? And HIV is the worst example. Corona is the worst example. Worst example means what? It is disastrous for everyone, right? HIV is disastrous for anyone because the person is going to be sustained life, but that person is not going to be free from the HIV infection throughout the life. In the case of the corona, we could see here the threat of the life. Clear? Or even in the case of the common cold, the infection is only up to certain level or up to the certain period. Means the point is that in the case of any viral infection, whether it is nominal, mild or disastrous, we don't have a specific medication. Because when we talk about the medication, a specific medication, like example, specific medication, when we talk about the specific medication here, just hold. Specific medication, it is antibiotic because it kills bacteria. Antifungal because it kills fungus, because both are cellular in nature, and the cell is the basic unit of life. Clear? So if we are going to kill these cells with the application of this antibiotic, right? These cells with the application of antifungal, that make a sense of the specific medication, right? So I am alive. You can kill me. You can kill me by shooting me, by strangulating me. That is going to end my life. Like the same, bacteria as a cell, we can kill with the help of chemical like antibiotic. Right? Fungus is a cell that we can kill with the help of antifungal. But when we talk about the viruses, right? In the case of viruses, there is no cell. Viruses are acellular in nature. Means there is no cell, and that is the reason behind we cannot kill viruses. Right? So, and we cannot kill viruses, it means we don't have a specific medication for the viruses. Right? So whatever the treatment we are doing is the indirect medication. So coming to this indirect medication, right? So there is no, we have used this word earlier, no specific medication for viruses. Why? Because there is no cell. Because there is no cell. And unless I cannot kill this pen, because this pen is what? It's a acellular in nature. So there is no question of life and death, especially in the case of this pen. Clear? So I cannot kill it. I cannot kill virus. I cannot kill virus because viruses are, we have mentioned here, viruses are living chemical. So what we can do, we can disintegrate virus. We can disintegrate virus. What is the meaning of this disintegration? I am coming to this point. And viruses usually affect immunity. Viruses usually affect immunity. That's why. And viruses usually affects immunity. That is the reason behind. You see, when we talk about the viral infection, this infection is asymptomatic, or even we cannot get symptom to a specific body part. Rather, we are suffering from infection from top to bottom. Like example, in the case of common cold, we feel irritated, we feel low, we feel common cold, we feel fever that make a sense of asymptomatic, that is not restricted to the body part, rather it is going to disturb your entire body parameters because it affects immunity, right? And when we talk about the immunity is throughout. I'm just coming to this immunity. How many layers of the immunity we have? This immunity is throughout the body part is the logic behind the infection of the virus. Is especially the fever is what? That is, the fever is not a particular body part. This fever is not infection to the particular body part. Right? Rather, we feel like the heating of the body means temperature rise, and that temperature rise is not restricted to the body part. Rather, it is all along the body part. Right? Feeling coughing, that is restricted to your chest part. But even you feeling irritated or you just feel low because of this immunity, and immunity is what? Immunity runs all along the body part. So what is the meaning of this immunity? I am going to elaborate, but here the point is that even if you don't have medication for the virus, so why we go to the doctor and ask for the medication means what is the logic behind the medication about any viral infection, right? So in the case of viruses, आप देखो, like best example this time, when we talk about the coronavirus, like I treated myself and I am well almost, right? You know what I did? I took Dolo 650, I took Limsi, that is the vitamin C. I simply, increased my vitamin C intake. Like I used to take the, amla, I used to take the, lemon, I used to take the orange. Right, and even then it's a source of vitamin C. Again, I used to take the vitamin, multivitamin, right? So that was a simple medication. Now, ultimately, the purpose is what? Why we are supposed to take this vitamin C? Why we are supposed to take this multivitamin? The intake of vitamin C, the intake of multivitamins are required for the strengthening of immunity. So ultimately the purpose of medication in the case of any viral infection is what? Is strengthening of immunity. And that's why nowadays we are just talking about strengthening of the internal immunity, that we are using this term as a herd immunity. So herd immunity is nothing but it's a natural immunity. So in the case of viral infection, the medication is nothing but it's a non-specific. And the intention of this non-specific medication is nothing. The one intention is what? Your immune system is now being attacked by virus. We need to strengthen. The immune system is consistently being degraded by the virus, that we are supposed to upgrade, we are supposed to strengthen. And for the strengthening of this, we are just taking the multivitamin and the vitamin C. Right? That is the first medication. And the second medication is we are providing certain chemicals for the disintegration of the viruses. Means viruses are going to be disintegrated. And viruses are going to be disintegrated means what? Viruses are not going to be viruses are after disintegration, viruses are not going to be multiplying, right? And if the viruses stop multiplying, it means what happened? Now the infection is going to be checked. That is the only purpose of viral medication. One is strengthening of the immunity, and the second is provide chemical to stop the viral multiplication by disintegrating viruses. Simple. That is the only way of medicating any virus, because we cannot kill virus, because viruses are living chemical and these are acellular in nature. So as a whole, I am just mentioning here the purpose of viral medication is what here. The viral medication is non-specific. The viral medication is non-specific. Non-specific means first is what? For the strengthening of immunity, and the second is to disintegrate virus, to stop virus multiplication, to stop virus multiplication. Fine. That is the only way. That is the only way to handle viral infection. Whether we talk about any virus, unless viruses are not going to, unless viruses are affecting our immunity. As long as viruses are affecting our immunity, we are supposed to medicate like this. Right? Okay? So the point is that here, now, there is a term like immunity. Immunity. We have used this term immunity so many times. So coming to this word immunity, that is defense mechanism of living organism. Defense mechanism of living organism. And we have different layers of immunity. First is innate immunity, means by birth. Yes, and the second is acquired immunity. After birth. After birth. Acquired immunity after birth. Innate immunity, that we born with the innate immunity, and the acquired immunity, that is after birth. So let me elaborate one by one this innate immunity. Okay? Like we have physical immunity or the physical barrier. Your skin. This skin. This skin is what? The skin is preventive measure. It's a physical barrier. To protect our internal body parts against the external contamination. That is the skin. And we born with the skin. That is the physical barrier. Okay? Again, we have chemical immunity. Chemical barrier or chemical immunity. See, just look. All entry points of the body. क्या क्या है? देखो आप, eyes. Entry. There could be the chance of contamination. Nose. There could be the chance of contamination, mouth. There could be the chance of contamination, ear. There could be the chance of contamination. So all points required as a necessary factor for the survival of life, because eyes are required for the vision, nose required for the inspiration and expiration, mouth required for the drinking, food and all, ear required for the sound. Clear? Fine. So these are necessary. So then what happened? Naturally, what we have? In the eyes we have tears. In the nose we have mucus. In the mouth we have saliva. In the ear we have wax. Clear? And these chemicals, these are, means see, tears, nasal, mucus. You heard about nowadays nasal swab. Nasal swab is used for the detection of the corona nowadays. That make a sense of the nasal mucus. Now we are using the nasal swab and the throat swab for the detection of the corona. So what exactly we are doing, I am going to make you understand, but this time let me elaborate here. Tears, nasal, mucus, then again saliva, again ear wax. These all have lysozyme chemical, which is protecting you against contamination. And it is natural. Clear? So this is the first as a physical, second as a chemical. Clear? Okay? And even your stomach has HCl in the stomach. HCl in the stomach is also required for this immunity. Suppose without washing your hand we are going to take food. So even there could be the chance of infection. So first of all, this food is cleared by pathogenic infection in your mouth, where the saliva has lysozyme, and even pathogen is going to cross your mouth. So stomach had HCl to decontaminate your food material. These are the good examples of natural immunity that we have by birth, and these are the falling in the category of the chemical immunity. Fine? Okay? Even pathogen is going to cross these two layers of immunity. Right? So just taking the next page, but here this is the continuation. I am just taking this continuation on the next page. Right? This third is what? Here we have cellular immunity. And this is your WBC. This is your WBC. And we all have WBC by birth. And in this WBC, we have so many categories of WBC. We have so many types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I am just mentioning here the one example as a lymphocyte. One example. It's a type of WBC. And this lymphocyte, this synthesizes antibodies. Getting my point? Yes? And the fourth is viral immunity. Viral immunity. And this viral immunity is especially dedicated for the viral infection, because I told you viruses are connecting link between living and non-living. Viruses are connecting link between living and non-living, right? So against the viruses we have a special kind of antibody in body. So see, I got herd immunity. I am recovering nowadays. I got infected through the COVID-19 and now I am recovering naturally because I am developing herd immunity. It means I am just talking about this viral immunity. And this is what? It's the interferon. Interferon. That is viral protein. It's a viral antibody. Yes, it's a viral antibody. Yes? Done? See, sadhana, if you can hear me, it's a B.1 point, it's a B point, again I am repeating, sadhana. If you can hear me, please, it's a B.1.617. It's a double strain, B.1.618 triple strain. Right? Varsha, the intention of the antiviral drug is what we have discussed so far. The intention of antiviral drug is nothing but for the improvement of immunity and for the disintegration of the viral composition. Whether we talk about you heard about we are providing ART treatment in the case of the HIV. That is the antiretroviral treatment is nothing but it's a antiviral drug. Intention is what? We cannot kill HIV virus because it's a non-living, but there's no cell. So what? We are just trying to slow its pace of multiplication, and that could be possible only by disintegrating it. So disintegration is required. Means the concept of the antiviral drug is to ensure the disintegration of virus. Right? Okay? Just 2 minutes, please. So this is what? Here. This is what? Just 2 minutes. I'm going to conclude. I cannot stop abruptly, otherwise you will not be able to understand. So just give me 2 minutes. I know that the people are in the Ramjan, so even I am not able to speak, but literally I am supposed to speak just to make you understand, just to conclude this. So this acquired, this is what, even that is what by birth we have. Then coming to this acquired immunity, coming to this acquired immunity, that is after birth. after birth. This is what? It's a passive and active. Passive means it's a fast, temporary, and passing out. Fast, temporary, and the passing out. Clear? So, mother feed is required for newly born. Because it transfers nutrition as well as immunity. Right, and this immunity is what? It's nothing but the transfer of immunoglobulin, which is Ig. It's a immunoglobulin A, antibody. And this mother feed is what? This is colostrum. colostrum. So at least for the 6 months to 1 year, mother feed is compulsion to all newly born. It is not for the nutrition only, because in the market we have so many nutrition supplement like lactogen. We have different numbers of lactogen. So that lactogen is going to supply only nutrition component. But what about the immunity? Because the newly born, because the baby, when the baby was developing, the baby was well protected by mother. For the 9 months of the gestation, right, baby was well protected by the mother, and then right after birth, now the baby is exposed to the contamination. So in that case, why this breastfeeding is compulsion? Because along with the milk, right, along with the breast milk, now immunity means antibody which is in body of the mother is also being passed from mother to newly born. Right? So why breastfeed is compulsion? Why mother milk is compulsion to all newly born? Just for the immunity transfer, at least for the 1 year. In the meanwhile, this baby is going to develop its immunity, which is forever, and that is what? It's active. So active immunity is what? It's a slow and permanent. It's a slow and permanent. Active immunity is slow and permanent. Right? So active immunity is slow and permanent. Clear? So that is the reason behind. Mother is going to feed baby couple of time in a day, because not to transfer, not to ensure the nutrition, rather it is also required to ensure the transfer of immunoglobulin, transfer of antibody to protect the baby newly born is the logic behind why this breastfeeding is compulsion to newly born, at least for the couple of the month or maybe year. Right? And that milk is what? It's a colostrum. Right? While this active is slow and permanent, and this active is slow and permanent, and that could be natural. This active is slow and permanent. Clear? And this could be natural or induced. This natural is nothing but it's a herd immunity. It's a herd immunity. Right? So I conquered corona. I am alright because against the corona, my body developed immunity, and this immunity is what? It's an antibody against corona is what? It's a herd immunity. So nowadays we are talking about the strengthening of the herd immunity, and this is what? It's a natural. It means it is induced, it is improved by the naturopathy. While this induced immunity, is done through the vaccine. It is done through the vaccine. Right? So this part of the discussion we are going to start from here onwards in the next class, and the tomorrow session will be of the same time, 4:30. I'm officially announcing to everyone. So don't claim that we have not get this planner officially. I am officially announcing the tomorrow session, my session. I am just accountable for my session. It's the 4:30 onwards. Clear? Fine. So this is what about the active immunity, right? So officially this class is over, and if anyone is willing to ask any question, so I'm sorry for the people. They are in the Ramjan. I feel sorry for this, but anyway, you please go and break your fast, and I'm going to take only the. So it's all about the ultimately. If mother has any disease, good source of sugar like lactose sugar is there. Milk has a protein, that is the casein and the whey protein. Milk also has fat, and that fat we are extracting in the form of the butter. Milk is the good source of the vitamin A, which is required for the sharpening of the vision, and the color of milk is slightly pale in nature just because of the vitamin A, that is the carotene. And milk is the good source of the calcium, means protein, vitamin, fat, mineral and the vitamins we all have. That's why milk is considered as a complete food. So apart from the complete food, right, this milk is also providing antibody to the baby, and that antibody is required to protect this baby against any kind of the foreign infection. Why? Because baby is newly born, and this baby is going to develop herd immunity, and it will take time. So in the meanwhile, mother is trying to provide immunity by transferring from her body to the baby body to the feed, and that feed is what? It's a colostrum. That milk is stinking in smell. And that stinking nature of the milk is because of the abundance of this antibody, which is immunoglobulin A. Yeah, see, listen, there's a Anurag Kumar, how the computer virus is different from the diseased virus. Listen, the word virus we are using as a generic term in the case of computer, because see, any software, any malware is going to affect your computer, right? Then what? It starts multiplying. And the multiplication tendency is the faster, right? And the multiplication tendency is so fast, so that is it is going to either speed down the speed of the computer, or it is going to affect your internal memory. So the word virus is using for this software malware in the case of the computer just because of the fast multiplication nature. Otherwise there is no similarity between the computer virus and even because viral multiplication in the case of the human is fastest, and even the malware multiplication in the case of the computer system is the fastest. Is the logic behind we are using the word computer virus. Yes? Meenakshi, just wait. We have just started. We are going to take only those parts which is required for the exam. We are going to catch only the class is so conclusive and so informative for you. You feel comfortable when we are going to appear in the exam. So just wait. We just started, and even first 30 minutes, and we faced a lot of technical glitches. Clear. So obviously tomorrow onwards I am going to make you understand little bit, and even बताते चलेंगे कि भाई यहाँ से you need to catch right, few information from here and there. So we just started. Just wait for the couple of the lectures. So I hope this is the enough for everyone. Anything else? Siddhant, अभी सब बाद में करेंगे सिद्धांत, why we don't go for the vaccination, right? Do you? I do believe in the vaccination process, yeah, but आपको पता है दिल्ली में we cannot move outside. So this is the personal talk. We can do it later on. See, sweetie, see what happened. The meaning of the herd immunity is what? See, there is always a consistent fight. Someone asked about what is pathogen. Pathogen means what? Pathogen means what? Microorganism is going to infect you. Disease-causing microorganisms are collectively known as pathogen. These pathogens could be virus. This could be bacteria, this could be fungus, this could be even protistans. So any disease causing organism is going to infect you, right? Generic term, non-technical term is for this non-technical term is what? It's a pathogen. Means COVID-19 is pathogen, right? Even pneumonia, bacteria is also a pathogen. Tuberculosis, bacteria is also pathogen, right? So see what happened. There's a consistent fight between pathogen and body immunity, right? So see, we are just trying, the body always try to respond against the contamination, right? So we are normal, even we got infected through the pathogen, but still we are normal. It means what happened? Body is already responded against the pathogenic infection, and this response is in the term of antibodies. So this is the self-acquiring antibody. This is the self-acquiring antibody against the contamination, and this self-acquiring means body responding immunity in the term of antibody. This is what? It's the herd immunity. I got infected through the coronavirus, clear, but neither I vaccinated myself nor I took any specific medicine from the coronavirus, right? For the coronavirus, my body responded, my body started responding against this coronavirus, and that response is what? Against the coronavirus, my body started responding, especially in the term of antibodies. So I have enough amount of antibody now time, means I acquired this immunity, and that is what? It's a herd immunity. Right? And the amount of this antibody or the herd immunity is going to be sufficient after 28 days. And the position of this antibody is where exactly? In the plasma. That make a sense of the plasma therapy. Probably I am going to tell you in the next class. HIV is not being transmitted from, yes, see, Neeraj Kumar, HIV is being transmitted from mother to baby, right? From mother to baby, because HIV, see, this HIV transmission this is possible once the baby is inside, means the baby development is going on, means mother is HIV positive and the baby development is going on. In that case, there could be the chance of transmission. But see, if mother is positive, baby is born, if my suppose example, right? If my mother is HIV positive and I born as a normal child, and even after that my mother got infected through the HIV, and I am going to get milk from my mother, in that case I am not going to be infected, because HIV transmission is only through blood transmission, and the breast feeding is not the source of blood transmission, right? So it is possible only once the baby is developing in the HIV positive mother. In that case, there could be the chance of the transmission. Okay then, so I am going to wrap up this. I am going to